Episode 69. You treat your boyfriend like a boss? Oh, I forgot he's your ex-boyfriend, Lan Yanjin said, unable to resist provoking Nan Shen the moment he saw his face. It had been a while since he last saw this man, and what had he done? He had dated Tan Hua, then given up on her. Shortly after, he lost his memories. And as if that wasn't enough, he even broke up with her because he didn't remember her at all. Just what kind of man was he? If it were him, he would never let Tan Hua go, even if he lost his memories. Nan Shen didn't deserve her. He would only continue hurting her if he stayed close yet, couldn't remember their past. Yanjin. Tan Hua was instantly irritated by his remark. She knew his real target wasn't her, but Nan Shen. If this had been before their breakup, maybe she would have agreed, because even in a workplace setting, treating a loved one purely as an employee could be painful. But now, they had broken up. It would be selfish of her to expect anything else. Right now, she was just a business partner and an employee, and Nan Shen was her boss. What are you doing here? Nan Shen wasn't foolish enough to miss the sarcasm in Lan Yanjin's words. He frowned, directing his question at the uninvited guest sitting on the sofa. What was this sly fuck doing in his company talking to Tan Hua? What? I'm free to visit your company. I'm a guest, and I'm not here to meet you. I have business with Tan Hua, so you'd better back off and mind your own, Lan Yanjin said coolly. He already didn't like Nan Shen. But now, after seeing how he had hurt Tan Hua, his hostility had only deepened. Did this man think he could act arrogant just because this was his company? His business couldn't even compare to his if not for the Louvre brand. Nan Shen had only reached an international level of success because of it, but who was behind that success? Tan Hua. In short, his company had grown because of her. And how did he repay her? By letting her go. You still have work to do, Tan Hua, Nan Shen said, his expression darkening. Lan Yanjin's attitude irritated him, and the way he spoke to Tan Hua made it seem as though they were sharing a secret. He knew it wasn't his place to interfere in Tan Hua's business. He wasn't her boyfriend anymore. But something about Lan Yanjin made him want to do just that. What was this feeling? Seeing him made him uneasy, almost irritated. Could it be that in the past, this man had done something to anger him? Lan Yanjin. Boss is right. I have to go. It's still work hours, Tan Hua said quickly, trying to prevent an argument from escalating. She was curious about the woman in the photo, but stopping Nan Shen and Lan Yanjin from fighting was more important. What if the media twisted the story if they saw the two of them arguing? She couldn't afford a scandal. Her brand was finally gaining a stable foothold in the fashion industry. Soon, she would be able to reveal her true identity to the public. She wouldn't let these two ruin her plans. Fine. Just call me when you're free. But I'll be out of the country for a month, so hopefully we can meet again in winter, Lan Yanjin said. He wanted to take things slow. There was no need to be reckless or fight with Nan Shen now. It would be winter soon, and from what he knew, Tan Hua might reveal her true gender to the public. When the time came, he would surely make her his girlfriend. Let the world know about it. All right. Tan Hua quickly dragged Nan Shen away, seeing that he looked like he was about to explode with frustration just from being in the same room as Lan Yanjin. Nan Shen was acting strange. Did he really dislike Lan Yanjin so much that just seeing him triggered this kind of reaction? Little did Tan Hua know, even Nan Shen himself didn't realize that what he was feeling was jealousy. Winter, 1 month later. Congratulations to you both for becoming a couple. Tan Hua raised her glass and toasted with Mi Shu, a warm smile on her face. Tonight, they were holding a banquet to celebrate Mi Shu and Ren Yuan officially becoming a couple, as well as to congratulate Tan Hua on the success of her brand. Tan Hua appeared at the event in her true identity, dressed in a silver princess gown, a new design from her brand. Her hair was styled in an elegant updo, adorned with a delicate silver butterfly hairpin, revealing her graceful neckline. The gown she wore was off-shoulder, allowing the beautiful necklace she had on to be visible. It was the same necklace Nan Shen had given her when they had once pretended to be a couple. Congrats to you two. Your brand is officially recognized worldwide now. Mi Shu giggled as she clinked her glass against Tan Hua's. The main highlight of the party should have been Tan Hua, as she was about to reveal that she was the owner of the prestigious Louvre brand. But somehow, she had made sure Mi Shu's moment was celebrated as well. Who would have thought Tan Hua would arrange a small surprise party to celebrate Mi Shu and Ren Yuan's relationship? It was truly unexpected. I couldn't have made my brand this successful without you, Ren Yuan, and Nan Shen's support, Tan Hua said, looking at Mi Shu, who was also wearing one of her newest designs, a stunning, long, red rose maxi dress. The deep red color perfectly suited Mishu's beauty, enhancing her charm even more. While this event was meant to celebrate Tan Hua, she had purposely made Mishu stand out. Because she knew that in this world, the true star was Mishu. And, well, using her to promote the new collection was just smart marketing. So in the end, Nan Shen still hasn't remembered you. Mishu glanced at the group of men talking not far from them, and sighed softly. She wished the best for her friend, but unfortunately, Nan Shen still hadn't fully regained his memories. He only remembered fragments of their past together. "It's okay," Tan Hua said, though there was a hint of sadness in her voice. She had done everything she could, but she believed that if she kept trying, Nan Shen would eventually fall for her all over again. It was no longer something that made her feel hopeless. Looking back, it had been a month since their bet. A month since Lan Yanjin had last visited Nan Shen's company. So much had changed since then. Just like in the story, Mishu and Ren Yuan had officially become a couple, though it did seem a little fast. Perhaps, without a love rival standing in their way, their relationship had progressed more smoothly. As for Tan Hua, everything was going according to plan. Tonight, she would finally reveal to the world that she was the mysterious owner of Louvre. Her brand had gained a solid foothold in the fashion industry, and she no longer had to hide. She could embrace her true identity as a woman, wear dresses freely, and stop keeping secrets. Mishu, a familiar voice called. Just as Tan Hua was talking to Mishu, Ren Yuan appeared, interrupting their conversation. He didn't say much, but Mishu instantly understood that he wanted to be alone with her. "I'll be back in a bit. Sorry." Tan Hua. Mishu patted Tan Hua's shoulder before letting Ren Yuan lead her away to a quieter spot. Watching them together, Tan Hua couldn't help but feel a little empty. If Nan Shen remembered her, maybe she would have moments like that with him too. Tan Hua sighed. It was better to focus on what mattered now. The press conference was about to begin, and she was nervous about making the big announcement. She just had to get it over with. The longer she waited, the more likely a scandal would arise. Sitting alone at the corner of the venue, she absent-mindedly ate a cupcake, her mind filled with thoughts. Then, out of nowhere, someone lightly tapped her head. "What are you doing? Daydreaming?" Nan Shen asked, raising an eyebrow as he nudged her gently, making her flinch in surprise. "And Nan Shen?" I'm just eating," Tan Hua said, quickly looking away, feeling awkward. It had been a month, and she still hadn't been able to make Nan Shen fall for her again. How could she not feel nervous around him? "Are you nervous?" Nan Shen suddenly sat down beside Tan Hua as he grabbed a drink from the table near her seat, making Tan Hua even more nervous. Sweat began to dampen her back as she felt the man sitting right beside her, even though there were plenty of empty seats around. Just why did he have to sit so close to her? "A little," Tan Hua admitted. She had prepared for the conference, knowing that many would look down on her for owning a brand as a woman. She was aware that her brand might take a hit too, but still, she was nervous. "Don't worry. I'll be there with you. You just need to make the announcement, and I'll handle any questions from the media," Nan Shen said as he patted Tan Hua's back reassuringly. Ever since he had regained part of his memories about her, he felt less awkward around her. Though he still couldn't shake off his curiosity about her relationship with Lan Yanjin. For some reason, whenever he saw Lan Yanjin or even heard his name, he had this strange urge to pull Tan Hua close and keep her away from him. What was this feeling? It couldn't possibly be jealousy, right? Thank you," Tan Hua nodded, feeling a strange sense of calm. Though her nerves were still present, they weren't as overwhelming as before. Maybe it was because of Nan Shen? Who knew? 30 minutes later. "It's time. Let's go," Nan Shen said after receiving a call informing them that the conference was about to start. Right." Tan Hua stood up and walked toward the conference room. Her hands were trembling slightly, though no one seemed to notice except for Nan Shen, who was walking right beside her. "Grab." Tan Hua had been focusing on rehearsing her speech when she suddenly felt someone holding her hand. The warmth of his touch spread through her, easing the tension in her body. "And Nan Shen? What the?" He was holding her hand? "Calm down," Nan Shen murmured, his eyes fixed ahead. He simply tightened his grip on her hand slightly, silently reassuring her. All she had to do was make the announcement. He would handle everything else. "Oh, okay." Tan Hua took a deep breath as she stepped into the conference room. The moment she entered, every journalist and media staff in the room turned their heads toward her. Thump. Thump. Oh no, everyone was looking at her. How could she not feel nervous? That's the first model of Louvre brand. What is she doing at this conference? One of the media staff whispered to a colleague, confused upon seeing Tan Hua enter with Nan Shen. This press conference was meant to reveal the owner of the Louvre brand. Since the brand had become so popular, many people had pressured Nan Shen's company to disclose the identity of the owner. They all wanted to establish connections with the mastermind behind such a successful brand. But up until now, the owner had remained a mystery. Even when issues arose, it was always Nan Shen who appeared before the public. They had never once seen the true owner of Louvre. "I don't know either, isn't she young Master Nan's girlfriend?" Another journalist muttered, shrugging. Everyone knew that Tan Hua was rumored to be Nan Shen's girlfriend, but they had no idea why she was here. In truth, Nan Shen had never corrected the media's assumption that they were still together. He had intended to, but fearing that it would disappoint his parents, he had kept silent. He planned to clarify everything only after he found his true soulmate. "Ladies and gentlemen," Nan Shen's voice rang through the room. With just those few words, the previously noisy room fell into complete silence. All eyes were now focused on him. "Today, Nan Company will disclose the identity of Louvre's brand owner, complying with the demands from various parties," Nan Shen announced, his sharp gaze sweeping over the audience. His presence carried the weight of authority, instantly capturing everyone's full attention. This was a critical moment. The reveal of Louvre's owner was a major news event, and they all needed to get the scoop. "You can speak now," Nan Shen turned to Tan Hua, stepping aside to let her take the podium. As Tan Hua replaced him at the microphone, murmurs of confusion spread through the audience. Was this young woman really about to make the announcement? But she didn't hold any major position in the company. Seeing the crowd growing restless, Tan Hua felt her nerves spike. It wasn't common for women to lead press conferences like this. Even Emmy Xu had never done one before. Her nervousness reached its peak. She felt like she might faint at any moment until she felt Nan Shen's hand silently gripping hers from behind. He didn't say anything. He just stood beside her, giving her the quiet strength she needed. This was it. One step toward freedom. With a loud and clear voice ringing throughout the room, Tan Hua said what she needed to say. "My name is Tan Hua, and today I declare that I'm the owner of Louvre brand." Tan Hua was shaking from nervousness, but she still did her role announcing the identity of Louvre's owner. The second after Tan Hua spoke, the entire room fell silent. The media staff were all stunned. Some widened their eyes in surprise, while others had their jaws drop. What was this girl talking about? She claimed to be the owner of that incredibly popular brand? Louvre had established itself as a rising company, growing at an impressive pace. The company had a strong relationship with Nan Company since Louvre was their golden goose, but who would have thought that the owner of this brand and its successful company was a young woman? That this is impossible. A full minute passed before a senior media staff member stood up. He looked at Tan Hua in disbelief. His words triggered an immediate frenzy. The rest of the media staff bombarded Nan Shen with questions, causing the room to erupt in noise. "Young Master Nan, why did you keep this a secret? Young Master Nan, is Louvre really owned by her? Young Master Nan." The media also turned their focus to Tan Hua. "Miss Tan, is what you said really true? Miss Tan? Did you create Louvre because you're young Master Nan's girlfriend? Miss Tan? Miss Tan?" Tan Hua's head spun as she was overwhelmed by the flood of questions. She didn't know how to respond, but the reporters kept pressing her. "Go out now." "I'll handle this," Nan Shen said, patting her back gently before nudging her toward the exit. She had done her part. Now, he would take over. "Thank you," Tan Hua murmured, escaping the chaotic room as quickly as she could. Noticing her sudden departure, the media became even more frantic. Some of them attempted to follow her, but Nan Shen acted swiftly. He waved his hand, and a line of guards entered from another door, securing the exits. "Calm down. I will answer your questions one by one," Nan Shen said firmly, his sharp gaze scanning the room. Slowly, he regained control of the audience. Outside the conference room, Tan Hua exhaled deeply, pressing a hand to her chest. She had been nervous before, but seeing the reaction of the crowd had made her even more anxious. What should she do now? Nan Shen said he would handle it, but she still couldn't shake off her worries. Just as she stood near the door, lost in thought, a familiar voice called out to her. "Tan Hua?" She turned and saw Lan Yanjin approaching, his eyes lighting up upon seeing her. Lan Yanjin? Tan Hua was startled. She hadn't expected him to be at the event. She hadn't even known Nan Shen had invited the Lane family. Nan Shen disliked Lan Yanjin. Why would he invite him? What Tan Hua didn't know was that Lan Yanjin had insisted he had something important to discuss with her. Because it concerned Tan Hua, Nan Shen had reluctantly agreed, despite his personal dislike for the man. Good timing. Come with me, there's someone who wants to meet you. Don't worry, I won't do anything to you, Lan Yanjin said before quickly taking hold of her wrist and leading her away. What? Tanhua didn't believe Lan Yanjin would harm her, but the mention of someone wanting to meet her piqued her curiosity. Who could it be? After 5 minutes of walking, Lan Yanjin brought Tanhua to a private room inside the hotel. At first, she was suspicious, but the moment Lan Yanjin called out to someone inside, her doubts faded. Auntie, here she is. Tanhua hesitated. Auntie? Did that mean the person wanting to meet her was Lan Yanjin's aunt? Or was it someone else? Oh, Yanjin, thank you. A woman stood up as Tanhua entered the room. The moment Tanhua saw her face, her heart skipped a beat. This woman, she was the one in the photograph Lan Yanjin had shown her before? Why was she here? Tanhua felt more than just shock. There was something else, a strange feeling she couldn't quite place. The woman was breathtaking, with silky, smooth blonde hair and striking blue eyes. A clear mark of foreign heritage. But still, why did Tanhua feel like there was something familiar about her? As Tanhua stood frozen, staring at the woman, the lady suddenly stepped forward. With tears welling in her eyes, she reached out, gently taking Tanhua's hand. My daughter. My daughter. The middle-aged woman shed tears as she hugged Tanhua so suddenly, making Tanhua's heart skip a beat after hearing the woman's words. What? Daughter? Tanhua looked at Lan Yanjin behind her with a troubled face. She came here because Lan Yanjin said that someone wanted to meet her. But how could this woman she just met suddenly call her daughter? Is this woman her biological mother? Impossible. What kind of situation is this, finding her real mother so quickly? Hug her, Lan Yanjin mouthed to Tanhua without making a sound. He subtly gestured with his body, trying to encourage Tanhua to return the hug. What? Hug this woman? Auntie? Tanhua hesitated, wanting to escape the woman's embrace, but seeing Lan Yanjin's signal, she slowly moved her hands and hugged the woman back. She didn't know who this woman was, but Lan Yanjin wouldn't ask her to do anything strange without a reason. Oh, my daughter. Finally, I can meet you. You've grown up, where's your twin brother? The middle-aged woman cried as she let go of Tanhua. She looked at Tanhua with a loving gaze, inspecting her from head to toe like a mother would do after reuniting with her long-lost daughter. Tanhua has passed away, Tanhua said, her head spinning as the woman gently touched her face, as though checking if she was all right. He passed away? The woman's eyes widened in surprise, and her face turned pale. Tears flowed from her eyes, and a moment later she suddenly wobbled. Auntie. Both Lan Yanjin and Tanhua auntie were shocked when they saw the woman suddenly faint, collapsing to the floor. Fortunately, Tanhua managed to catch her before she hit the ground. Lan Yanjin also quickly helped Tanhua get the woman to the nearby sofa. They never expected the woman to faint after hearing about Tanhu's death. 5 minutes later. Sorry to trouble you. You must be confused right now, Lan Yanjin sighed, glancing at the woman who was still unconscious on the sofa. So, who is she? Tanhua was still shocked and confused after meeting the woman, but somehow, she felt there was more to this story. Could it be that the woman was really her long-lost mother? As you guessed. She is your real mother, Lan Yanjin sighed, finally revealing the truth to Tanhua. He had hoped the woman would explain herself, but seeing her in this condition, he realized it was up to him. Really? For real? How come? Tanhua had suspected it before, but to think that the woman she saw today was truly her long-lost mother. What kind of day was this? Finding her real mother so easily, was there more to come? Yeah, for the rest of the information, I think Auntie should be the one to tell you herself. Let's wait until she wakes up, Lan Yanjin said, stealing a glance at Tanhua. His heart raced a little faster as he watched her. He had always known Tanhua was beautiful, especially in her feminine form, considering her mother was a beauty too. But tonight, Tanhua looked even more stunning in the off-shoulder princess gown from Louvre. How he wished he could take her hand and pull her close. Lan Yanjin was admiring Tanhua when suddenly he received a phone call from his subordinates. I've got to take this call. You keep an eye on Auntie, okay? Lan Yanjin stood up and left the room after making sure Tanhua would stay inside. He had promised the woman to make sure Tanhua stayed. Clap. So, what? Tanhua is? Lan Yanjin stepped out to answer the call, and to his surprise, the news was about the shocking revelation at the conference earlier. He had known that Tanhua would eventually reveal her identity as a woman, But he hadn't expected her to be the owner of Louvre, the very brand he had been searching for. That girl was really the owner of Louvre, not just their designer? No wonder she had kept her true gender a secret. It turned out she was building her own empire in the fashion industry. A girl like her, how could he let go of her so easily? Since Nan Shen no longer had interest in Tan Hua, maybe now was his chance. Back in the room, the middle-aged woman had regained consciousness and was now having a serious conversation with Tan Hua. So you really are my mother? Tan Hua nervously gulped as she looked into the woman's blue eyes. The woman's resemblance to her was undeniable, and Tan Hua couldn't help but feel that this was true. But to meet her real mother in such a way, what a coincidence. Yes, I'm your mother. I'll tell you the story so you will believe me. The middle-aged woman wiped her tears as she began to tell Tan Hua her story about how they got separated. The middle-aged woman's name was Rieta Lorage. She grew up in the West, having been born in a Western country. One day, she traveled to Asia to study Chinese medicine. At that time, she already had a fiancé, but she unexpectedly fell in love with an Asian man who later became the biological father of Tan Hua. The man was only an ordinary doctor in a traditional Chinese clinic, but Rieta still insisted on marrying him, even when her family went against her. In short, Rieta ran away from her hometown and married this man. They soon had twin children, Tan Hu and Tan Hua. Both of them were named Yan Hu and Yan Hua, following their father's family name. But then, who knew that Yan would suddenly pass away from a chronic illness that he had kept hidden from Rieta? Rieta was overwhelmed by her husband's death, and since she didn't work, she soon struggled to support both of her children. At this time, when she was already 30 years old, her family came to take her back and suggested she marry the fiancé she had left behind since the man had also lost his wife in a plane accident. At first, Rieta refused, but seeing her children wouldn't be able to grow up well while living in poverty, she agreed to remarry. She thought her family would allow her to bring her children with her, but they suddenly said both of them had been taken away by her grandfather. Rieta didn't believe it and tried to find her children, but to no avail. It turned out that her grandfather had left Tan Hua and Tan Hu with her husband's family. The Yan family wasn't rich to begin with, but they still took care of Tan Hua and Tan Hu until the couple fell into poverty and could only give them to Tan Hui's parents. Tan Hui's parents had saved Tan Hui's life, so they took care of Tan Hua and Tan Hu while they were still wealthy. Who knew that Tan Hui's parents would later face bankruptcy? That's how Tan Hua and Tan Hu never met their real parents when they grew up. So there's something like this. Tan Hua listened closely, trying to imagine how hard it must have been for her real parents to marry when they weren't supported by their families.